Bronco, how would you describe the morale of the guys today?
Well, I think they're determined, they had a good practice, and resilient.
Any chance that you might catch Notre Dame maybe looking ahead, that big game they had following week?
I don't know. In fact, I don't know who do they play after us. Oh, maybe. Right now, I'm just worried about improving our team. So who knows about their mindset? I'm not certain.
Do you ever deal with that with your own players, though? There was a big game coming up after the one you were playing?
You know, interestingly enough, the mindset of the players, it can be a big game or it can be tests coming up. I mean, there's all kinds of challenges. So, you know, it's hard to even say. I've dealt with it before, but I can't speak as to what theirs would be. But if it is, it's a hard challenge to get them out of it if that's the tendency they're going.
You didn't start Riley Saturday?
Uh-huh.
That's still the plan?
Yep.
Any depth chart changes at all?
There's not exact same depth as it was last week.
How'd you come out of that game health-wise?
Good. There were three bumps and bruises, minor, but nothing significant, so we have the same team we just played with.
Riley said he felt pretty good after the game. Did he feel the same way the next day?
He did, yeah. In fact, he'll be he's going to be taken off the injury report and the trainers list, etc. So he's kind of self-reliant at this point.
Bronco, it's typical to hear so much about offenses in college football. How excited are you about this defensive matchup?
I'm excited about it. I think Notre Dame is very good on defense. I'm anxious to have our defense perform as they did the first 6 weeks, not as they performed the last week. And so that's my main focus right now, is getting them to perform again the way I know they're capable of.
Looks like you have to prepare for two quarterbacks. Is that kind of your mindset?
Yeah, I think so, but you know, it's more adjusting on game day as best you can. So we'll prepare for the best of what they both do, and then we'll see what happens.
BYU's never played two top 10 teams in back-to-back weeks. How has this challenge been for you as a head coach?
Oh, it's been good. I've learned a lot about our team. I've learned a lot about our program, and I think the only way that we'll take the next step in our program is to play teams like this, and on the road is great too. And so I'm anxious to see how we handle it.
You played against them your first year.
Yeah.
What are your recollections of that game?
Man, I don't remember if that's when we beat them at home or if we went on the road.
They beat you on the road pretty
Yeah, so I think Samardzija was the receiver and we couldn't cover him. I remember that. I don't remember much else about the game. Or that might have been the second time they beat us. I'm not sure. Charlie Weiss was the coach one year, and not sure who it was the first year. Shows you how much I remember it. But I remember Samardzija one year.
Does it feel like a different stadium, though? Everybody talks about the history there.
I think in my case, once you've been there once, it's a really neat place. But man, so much focus is just on the game now that I don't know if our players will. I think once they get there, they'll realize it's a nice place. It's a historic place. It's a place full of tradition. But you know, we just got to play.
You talked after the Oregon State game about them using the max protection.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to prepare if Notre Dame's going to use a similar scheme to try and keep your blitzers and off the quarterback?
It was just in reviewing the film, it was all about our execution, our precision, our concentration. The plays were defendable. They executed theirs at a higher level, but we were not sharp in the secondary.
Do you think you'll see the same thing from Notre Dame, the similar max protect type?
I would. If you go for 6 games and not giving up many points, and then you give up one game where there's a lot of points, I'd probably copy that one.
How hard is it on your secondary in a situation where the blitzers and guys aren't getting to the quarterback like they have in other games?
Well, it would be hard, but we dropped 8 the majority of the time, so there was plenty of help. They just didn't do their job correctly, so we weren't really blitzing into it very much. We're actually coverage-oriented, and our coverage did not execute well.
Bronco, TV cameras showed Brandon Dolman getting into Riley pretty good after a mistake. Do you envision, is there any scenario where you would see a change of quarterback?
No, I really don't. I think Riley is improving our team. I think there was a lot of that through about 3.5 quarters. A few decisions were not wise, and there's a lot of stuff where he answered touchdown for a long time, and I'm kind of focusing on that point. But we do need to take better care of the football.
When you guys meet as a team after a game like Saturday, do you ever seek feedback in a team meeting setting from your guys? And if so, what kind of feedback were you getting today, maybe?
Sometimes I ask, sometimes I don't ask. When I have a really good idea from what I saw, I don't ask, and I had a really good idea from what I saw. If I'm not certain, then I might. But concentration, precision, and really execution and maybe a little overconfidence defensively from all the accolades. I think there was a little edge that was missing.
So the lack of sharpness maybe comes down to that this past weekend?
Hard to tell, possibly.
When you talked about the defense getting back to playing the way you know they can, is that something you vocalize a lot, or do you leave it up to the players?
No, when I see it, I tell them. And I tell them pretty bluntly.
Can you describe the recruitment of Manti Te'o and maybe his family, and then what you thought of him now, then and now?
We wanted Manti. Thought he was an excellent player. Heavy recruiting race. Had an official visit. Saw everything that we had to offer, and really didn't want BYU. And so, but certainly our evaluation as a player was right. He's very good.